All right, Nic Rohloff here from Dolphins Today for Chat Sports. And on today's show, a little mailbag action. Before Week 8 against Arizona, we're going to answer today's questions from you guys on our live show on Tuesday. But before we do that, make sure you are following us over on Instagram. We are 39 followers away from 500 on our Instagram account. At Dolphins Today IG is the handle. If you want more Dolphins content on a daily basis, in between our videos we post on YouTube, our Dolphins Today IG is the best place to do that. So go give us a follow, and when we get to 500, we're going to have a special surprise. So go follow us over to find out what that will be. All right, first question we're going to get into is Ellery Woods Parker III. Outside of the quarterback position, what are the top things the Dolphins need to fix, get right to make the playoffs? Okay, number one, they have to get better at minimizing mistakes. And it's easy to just say less penalties, but the Dolphins are top 5 in the National Football League in penalties and top 5 in the National Football League in penalty yards. So, one, you have to make sure you aren't hurting yourselves with dumb face masks, holds on offense, as well as personal foul calls on defense and the whole 9 yards there. So you have to be more disciplined in that area. Number two, you have to be better in your run defense. It's not the worst. You're still around that middle point, but they are in the bottom half of the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed per game. They allow nearly 5 yards per attempt as well. You have to be better stopping the run. Now, you are really good against the pass, so that will help you. But then overall, number three, the QB position, you're going to talk about it. But your offense just has to be better. You've been the worst offense in football this year. You averaged the least amount of points per game with I think it's 11.7 after 7 weeks in 6 games. Like, you just simply have to be able to convert. They're also 32nd in the National Football League in red zone scoring, 35% when getting to the red zone and not being able to capitalize and scoring a touchdown. 35% touchdown rate. That can't happen. Finish in the red zone, help stop the run, and minimize penalties and mistakes. Those are the 3 things that we need to talk about the most outside of who's playing quarterback. So Tori GL, with Tua being back practicing Wednesday, how do you feel about the Dolphins offense? Better, that's for sure. I'm not going to come out and claim that they're going to be some top 10, top 5 offense. I'm just asking for average at this point. It's been so bad for Miami that I think I would just galvanize over an average offense. That's really where we're at, unfortunately. And I kind of said this too on our live show on Tuesday in between segments, but the Dolphins' defense has been so good. There's been a top 5, top 10 defense this year. They've been the number 1 team in getting teams off the field in third down, number 1 team against the pass. If they were just able to have an offense that is average, I tell you, the Dolphins would be above 500 at this point. So just give me 20, 24 points a game, anywhere between those 2 rates. Not that much to ask for from the Miami Dolphins and offensive guru Mike McDaniel. So with Tua coming back, just give me 20, 24 points a game, and this team will win the majority of their ball games. That's how good their defense has been. All right, this is a tough question. Is the Dolphin season over? Hopefully you guys don't think so. Type O for over. Type N if you think it's not. This is the rare time where typing N is a positive thing. You still believe. Let me know down below. Decor444. What do you think about trading Raheem Mostert? Hilarious you asked this because we're doing this on our live show before our segment that ultimately went out yesterday, Matrix, trade rumors. And on yesterday's show, we talked about trading Raheem Mostert. So we're really going back here, really tough timeline here. But I think trading Raheem Mostert is absolutely on the table. With how good Jalen Wright has been this season, you have Devon Achane. You seem to only want to use 2 running backs religiously when you have all 3 healthy. Now, Jalen Wright crept his way in this past week and had 5 carries. Very effective, by the way. 33 yards, 6.6 yards per carry. He's been arguably your best pure running back this season in terms of straight-off hands-offs. So I would play Jalen Wright more. And then with Devon Achane being the weapon he is, I think that makes Raheem Mostert expendable. I would trade Raheem Mostert if a team needing a running back called you and said, hey, we'll give you a 5th, we'll give you a 6th. I would really think about it because if you were concerned about not having a veteran running back that is more of a physical in-between the tackles runner, well, you still have Jeff Wilson Jr. on this roster that's been a healthy and active. You just make him your 3rd running back and trade Raheem Mostert. Jim, what coaching prospects would be the best fit if our Finns get Mike out of here? Okay, so I don't think that Mike McDaniel will get fired. I've been very open about my disliking of how he's handled the season and how disciplined and how much of a leader he has been. But I don't think he'll be fired. But I'll entertain the question. I think one of the top guys that I'd like to bring in is Mike Vrabel. He is a current assistant coach in the Cleveland Browns, I believe. He was the head coach in Tennessee, and I don't blame him for the Titans' downfall. I don't. I blame the GM and the front office because the team just went really downhill after they traded away A.J. Brown. And I think if they kept A.J. Brown, they would have continued to win football games because when they had Tannehill at quarterback, Brown at wide receiver, Derrick Henry, and that strong offensive line, they were consistently winning the AFC South and winning playoff games. I think Mike Vrabel's a really good football coach. I don't think he got the right I think he got a raw deal, let's just say this, in Tennessee. I would bring in Mike Vrabel. Obviously, if you get rid of Mike McDaniel, you'd have to give a look at Ben Johnson, the play caller in Detroit. But my top two would probably be Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson just right off the dome. All right, make sure you do subscribe to the channel because we do so many fun things here. Daily videos and content, live on Tuesdays, live for every Miami Dolphins game as well. Subscribe and join the channel because even if the Dolphins continue to stack losses, we'll still be here to cover the team and get you ready for the offseason. But hopefully we don't have to talk about that for quite a while. British Finn, who's most at risk of being traded before the deadline? I think, honestly, it's one of the players we just mentioned in Raheem Mostert just because of how good Jalen Wright has been, and you obviously spent capital on him. We didn't mention this a little bit earlier, but you traded a 2025 third-round pick to get him in 2024 in the fourth round. So you clearly have a vision for Jalen Wright long-term past Raheem Mostert. So I think Mostert's very likely to be dealt. And I also think Emmanuel Ogbah could be someone to be traded. Now, I don't advise the Dolphins to trade Emmanuel Ogbah because he's been your most consistent edge rusher, and he missed this past week against Indianapolis, and you saw his presence get felt with Chop Robinson struggling to generate pressure as well as not playing well in the run game. I think Ogbah could be dealt if the Dolphins continue to lose games. I would not trade him if you are 500 at the deadline or just one game under 500. But say the Dolphins lost this week against the Cardinals and against Buffalo and you're 2-6, well then I would trade Emmanuel Ogbah because Bradley Chubb's going to return soon. So I would probably trade Ogbah. He's on a one-year deal, cash in on the veteran playing well this season. And you should use some of your cash to grab this Dolphins quarter zip, baby. Chatsports.com/DolphinsQZip is the link. It's in the description and comments of today's video. They have all different sizes. They are fully stocked, different colors. This is the charcoal version, but they have orange, white, aqua, navy. Really sweet. I love quarter zips. I'm wearing a quarter zip right now from St. Bonaventure, my alma mater. But they're so versatile. Wear them to work. Wear them to dinner. Wear them on the golf course. Wear them to the grocery store. I love quarter zips. Represent the Dolphins 365, baby. All right, Mac Hudson with a question. How many years does it take to repair an offensive line? Obviously too much because the Dolphins' offensive line has not been good this year, and it's been quite a disaster over the past couple of years as well. And obviously losing Liam Eichenberg. Wish we lost Liam Eichenberg. Losing Robert Hunt at right guard and Connor Williams at center really hurt because that was a reason why the Dolphins were so effective in the run game last year is because how good they were on the interior. Listen, there's still a long way to go. Austin Jackson is your long-term right tackle, at least a little bit. You signed him to a 3-year extension, so he's going to be there at right tackle, and he's actually been pretty solid. You also signed Aaron Brewer in the offseason to replace Connor Williams to a 3-year deal. Aaron Brewer has been actually really good. I'm telling you, if you have PFF, I'm imploring you and telling you, go look at his numbers on Pro Football Focus. He has been good. And Teron Armstead, when healthy, he has been good. And you also drafted Patrick Paul in the second round of this past draft to be your long-term left tackle. So you have, at least for the next couple seasons, a left tackle, a center, and right tackle kind of solidified. So what you need to do going forward is figure out the left guard and right guard situation. We know Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg aren't at. I have yet to look at the free agents this upcoming year on the interior offensive line, but I would seriously consider burning some of your top draft capital on interior offensive linemen and some of the money that you might have in free agency to replace Eichenberg and Robert Jones on that interior. This is why I really kind of pined for the Dolphins to draft Graham Barton out of Duke with 21st overall pick rather than Chop Robinson. A lot of you guys did not agree with me at the time and were mad at me for getting a little bit down on the Chop Robinson pick, but boy, I think we'd all say we'd rather have Graham Barton right now over Chop Robinson. All right, make the call for me, though, with the trade deadline vastly approaching in a couple weeks. Should the Dolphins buy or sell at the NFL trade deadline on November 5th? just 2 days after the Week 9 game against the Buffalo Bills. Type B if you think they should buy and add to the roster. Type S if you think they should sell some of their assets. Orbit Plagues with a question. Do the Dolphins have the cap space money to make a blockbuster trade or signing? Right now, not really. They're really against the cap. So, like, if you're trying to think of, like, a Cooper Kupp trade or, like, even if you want to get crazy and trade Matthew Stafford, I'm probably going to say they can't do that. But you can get very creative with a lot of different ways to create cap space, move cap space around, push it towards the future, give extension, restructures, add void years. There's a lot of different things you can do to create cap space. I've yet to really think about the offseason orbit, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to answer that for you here. I've still focused on this year. I'm not looking towards 2025, 26 just yet, but at least with the trade talk potentially arising over the next couple weeks with the deadline, I don't think you can expect them to add someone with a salary of 24, 25 plus $million or anything like that, but 15, 20, I think they might be able to make that work. All right, make sure you are following us over on Instagram. Like I said off the top, Dolphins Today IG is the handle. We put out daily content over there in between our videos. You get extra content, short form, posts, engagement. Go give us a follow over there because we do great, incredible stuff on our Instagram.